dark light. Don't matter in this motherfucker, you heard? Blame it on the juice, blame it on Patron, blame it on the Jack, it got you in the zone. Blame it on the alcohol, blame it on the alcohol. I'm fucked up, nigga, I'm twisted.
Hi, Deja. Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back.
Yeah, long time no talk.
Mm-hmm.
Long time no me disappointing you.
Not that long. Not that long.
Well, I'm happy to be back. I just got back from my meditation retreat a week ago from today, and very happy to be back. I went on a Vipassana silent meditation retreat, which is a silent retreat over the course of 10 days, and learned a lot about myself, cried so much. I cried the most in the course of maybe the 10 days and a few days afterwards. I think I haven't cried like this since I was maybe a child, and just like really diving deep into stuff that I didn't even know bothered me. But I feel like a big weight has been lifted off of me, and I feel like a new man. So this feels like the beginning of a touch of peace.
Blessy.
A touch of blessy.
You know, three things come to mind. Let me not forget each three. So the first one is...
The one you subtweet, the one your group chat gets to read, the one you run and tell me.
The first one is, what is different about the cry that you did there than the cry that I stay hearing? Because you cry a lot. So I just want to know what made this cry so significant.
Yeah, ain't nothing special about you crying. You cry all the time. I think this was... The cries that you've heard were like cries of like pain and like straight up anguish that is very surface level and you're feeling. This one was more like, oh, that thing that happened in the second grade. That's holding a lot of weight. This is how I've acted since the second grade because I chose not to let this thing go. And it was just like there's different kinds of cry. There's different levels of cries. All my Pisces out there, you know what I'm talking about. What's your sign?
Aries.
Aries, take a seat. Pisces, you know what I'm talking about. I think. Yes.
Second one.
Second question.
I honestly don't even remember because the first one was so important to me. But the third one is I feel you when it comes to our podcast and like how, like, I'm glad that Deshaun had mentioned earlier, like, about some of the questions that we ask and like, just like, hearing you and like the direction of where we go with the podcast a little bit. And I think people genuinely love like our back and forth banter and conversation, but like some of the stuff we do is like, I think we can up level a little bit. We can upgrade a little bit while still keeping it us. Like, I feel like I know everything that comes in you and out of you at this point. Like, it's time to like if you ask someone like, what's their podcast about? I feel like everyone will say shit. Shit. And like sex.
Yeah, let's we're done with the poop stuff.
We're done.
Yeah.
Well,
if it comes up naturally, yes. But
yeah.
We're not gonna lean. We'll have a poop counter.
Yeah.
And we're keeping it below 3 for this one. We've already gone to 1 by even mentioning it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm super glad that good retreat. I'm glad that you had a good time. And
thank you.
What was it called again?
It's a Vipassana retreat.
What's Vipassana?
It's it literally translates to the meditation of observation, and it's 10 days silent. It's completely free.
It's free?
Yeah. They feed you
I didn't know all that.
Feed you 3 times a day, full vegetarian meals, offer you a place to stay. They suggest that you donate. I think the total cost to keep people up is like $450. So they say if you can do $450, that's great. If not, completely understand. And yeah.
Stand up. Let me see if you lost any weight.
I did. I lost 5 pounds.
You don't want to stand up?
I'm super tired.
Oh, okay.
But I did lose weight. And when I stand up, you won't see it in the camera. But
I was trying to show them. Okay, so what other activities did you do there?
it was basically, Deshaun, I'll send you the schedule. We can put it up here. But you wake up at 4. First meditation is from 4:30 to 6:30. Then you have breakfast from 6:30 to 8. And breakfast doesn't usually take that long, so you have like an extra hour to walk around and just like take a shower, brush your teeth, do whatever you need to do. And then from 8 to 9, there's a group meditation where you go to this hall and everybody sits together. You get some words at the beginning and then you meditate. And then from 9 to 11 is solo meditation. You can stay in the hall or go back to your room. And then from 11 to 12 is lunch. 12 to 1 is time to ask questions. So you can go talk to the assistant teacher. So it's not completely silent, but these are the only opportunities you have to talk. Or rest. And this is another opportunity for people to either shower or go for a walk. It's this place called Onalaska, which is close to Centralia. And they have it on this really nice couple acres of land. And you get to just walk around the course and like walk through the forest a little bit. Everything is super contained. So that path that they have for you, I probably walked it 100 times because there was nothing to do. And then from 1 to 2:30 is solo meditation. 2:30 to 3:30 group meditation. 3:30 to 5 is solo meditation. 5 to 6 is dinner. 6 to 7 is another group meditation. From 7 to 8 is they show a teaching by S.N. Goenka, who is one of the older people within Vipassana, and he's the one that kind of brought it to the Western world. And he has each day he has like an hour-long kind of speech that he has recorded, and he talks about different things. About the big thing is about making sure you observe things that happen to you, you don't react to them, and categorizing everything that happens in your life as either a craving or misery. So if you think about everything, a craving or an aversion, and those are the cause of all the miseries in your life. So if you think about everything that makes you miserable, like right now, me not being able to make it to your party, there is a craving for you to have this curated time, which I was involved in. I unfortunately am unable to make it. And you have this craving for, I wish the situation was different than what it actually is. And because of that, it creates a misery within you.
You think that's why I'm upset? Because you're not going to my birthday party?
Oh, you're craving me to show up for you in that place when you've shown up for me and I'm unable to do so.
Exit out where I've shown up for you. I'm just asking you to show up for me.
Yes. Well, that is, you are craving a situation, and that situation isn't happening, a different situation is happening, a misery is being created in you. And I think it's important to not let that misery multiply, because it's easy to like brush it off and be like, I'm mad at this person, but I'm just going to keep it cool.
Oh, I'm not mad at you.
The next time we have something comes up, that gets multiplied into something, or you go talk to somebody else.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
It builds onto something else, and the whole Dhamma is the name of the practice of everything. And the whole purpose of Dhamma is getting rid of miseries in the world, because everything keeps
here we go.
Everything keeps getting multiplied from person to person.
Yeah.
And if everybody was able to like take care of themselves and observe the emotions that are coming in and not react and not put out anger to the world, it'll be a much better place. And the first 2 days, all that meditation I told you about is all in one day. First 2 days, you're just breathing through your nose and observing the sensation of the air coming out of your nose and how it feels like around your nostril tips and inside your nostril. The third day, they add the lower lip, and the fourth day, they add the whole triangle of the nose. So imagine just breathing for 10 hours a day, and all you're supposed to do is focus on that. When thoughts come in, you're not supposed to get angry. You're just supposed to observe the thoughts that come in and then go back to focusing on your breathing. And by either day 4 or day 5, the actual practice starts, where during the meditation, you scan your whole body. So you sit there and you focus on sensations that are happening at the top of your head, around your head, going down all the way down to your feet. And then that next day, that first day you do individual body parts. Second day you do like both shoulders, both arms. And then by day 9, they want you to get to a point where you can just scan through everything in one breath. So in one breath, feel sensations all over your body and check for like different blockages and whatnot. And the thing about the blockages, I have blockages in my stomach and my hip.
Too.
And that's number 2. We have one more left. The thing about the blockages is the more you do it, the more you try to focus on feeling a sensation over there. And the more you do that, the more your mind just starts racing. And I feel like I understood so much about everything. And to get very deep and personal, I think a thing that I needed to work on that I didn't realize I needed to do was learn to forgive my parents. I think my mom and dad are two people that I view as these like beings, and I can think of all the mistakes they made in raising me, and I chose to focus on those mistakes as I can't believe like you guys did this, you didn't think ahead, I didn't believe you let me do this. And even today, the qualities that they have that I don't enjoy, I tend to harp on those a lot. And through dealing with those blockages, I was able to realize that a lot of my shit that I bring onto other people is just my inner child that is scared. Like my craving for like validation from being with multiple people comes from a young version of me that never felt like he got the love. Like Deshaun talked about that fear of rejection and how I said it as a passive joke. It truly comes from a place where my inner child is afraid of being rejected. So he feels that every time somebody agrees to sleep with me or go on a date with me, I am being validated. And that inner child can feel like I'm almost stunned on my inner child. I mean, like, hey, look at me now. You couldn't get no bitches. Look at me right now. But what I really need to do is whenever
Look at me right now.
whenever those things come up, I just need to like view my inner child as a child. Tell him, come here. Everything is going to be all right. We don't need this. You're safe now. I am an adult, an emotionally intelligent adult, and I'm here to protect you. And it's incredible how much you're able to get past. And same thing with my mom. My mom had such a traumatic, shitty childhood, and so did my dad. So the ways that they show up, when they don't show up perfectly, I'm able to see it as like baby Hafswa that never maybe got the
Is that your
affection.
mom's name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never got the affection that she needed. And now it's coming out in this way. Same thing with my dad, feeling like he needs to do everything just to remain successful because of growing up poor without any money and not really sure when the next paycheck is coming in. And learn to love them despite that. There's so much good that they've done. And if I choose to harp on these miseries, I will then take those on, and then my kids will experience that, and then their kids will experience that. And I kept envisioning my nephew that I met for the first time when I was in Kenya, and I was like, damn, if I don't take care of my shit now, if me and my sister in this generation don't take care of our shit, we're literally passing it on to him, who will pass it on to the next generation, to the next generation. And yeah, that caused a lot of tears. I thought about a lot of people in my life that have taken their own life, and like the anger and the guilt that I feel from that. And instead of letting it go, I found myself at first thinking like, damn, if they had the opportunity to come to this retreat, maybe they'd be able to deal with their shit and they wouldn't have taken their own life. But then learning to accept that this is a reality that has happened. They weren't afforded the same opportunities that I was, and they didn't have the tools that they needed, unfortunately. And it's not my fault for doing anything, and it's not their fault either. Just observe the reality for what happened, accept that this happened. It can get worse if I let it build up and let these miseries multiply into a bigger thing and I unleash it to other people. And it's something that I've done with people that I've dated in the past or friends that have dealt with we joke and call it like the sassy version of me. But I think a lot of that is just like miseries that I'm carrying and not processing and letting it kind of control me. So I'm hopefully past that.
Question. Let me break this up a little bit. How do you, now that you're back, it's so easy in the beginning of the year, it's so easy, in a new relationship, it's so easy on your birthday to decide all the things that you are going to change and have these new beginnings and these new understandings of yourself. How do you continue to take these things and grow and not just forget these tools, because life happens and that's what we do as creatures of habit?
I think it's just accepting. I've learned to accept me for what I am.
And what is that?
Just a flawed person that at my core, I want to be a good person. I do let some cravings or aversions that I have lead me to do things that make me not a good person. And I think I have a tendency to I was trying not to drink or do anything sinful for the last week of Ramadan. On Thursday, I slipped up and I had a drink. I think in the past,
I
it's
think
easy.
they slipped up and had sex.
I just fell in some pussy.
It happens. No, I was kidding.
I slipped up and had a drink. I think it would be very easy for me. It's like, well, I fucked this up. I had this impossible standard that I set for myself. One thing failed. I spilled some juice. I'm just going to throw the whole thing on the ground. And I think when I had that drink, I went home and I meditated. And I was like, hey, Abdul. Hey, younger Abdul. I still love you. It's okay that you fucked up. I know your intention was to do this and you failed in this way, but you're not that failure that you've thought you've been your entire life. You don't need to be super hard on yourself. Just don't go and do the other stuff that you don't want to do. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything. And take this small loss and move on. And he's also changed the way I watch basketball, surprisingly.
Okay.
I was watching the Lakers game yesterday. And I feel like usually when I'm watching basketball, I'm like, all right, we're down 10. We need a 3 right now.
Yeah.
And then we would like miss it, and then the ball would go on the other way. I think in my mind, I was just like, fuck, the game is over. I've given up.
Yeah.
Just throw it away. But being able to view life as, in this moment, this mistake has happened. Don't let that misery follow you. Move on to the next thing and keep being better. And I will mess up.
Yes.
If I go in expecting not to mess up, I think I'm setting myself up for failure. But yeah, I'm 31.
Don't play with me. I don't like that.
I'm 31. I don't really have time to just not love myself.
Period.
And not fully accept myself for the good and the bad. And just, I don't need that external validation. I don't need to get people to accept the apologies for the things that I've done wrong in order for me to be better. I feel like in the past I felt like I need to be forgiven for my bad stuff in order for me to move on. But sometimes the other person just isn't in a place to receive my apology. Instead of making that let me feel shitty and then using that to make other people feel even shittier because I haven't dealt with the emotions of not being forgiven. I just need to learn that, all right, you fucked up. They choose not to apologize to you. That is fully within their right, and nothing you can do but be a better person and make sure that you're fine. Last thing I'll say on the subject, two things that I really, really made this whole experience hit home with me is on the last day, like halfway through day 10, you're allowed to talk to other people. And you're able to, it's so weird to be able to just stare at people's shoes. You're avoiding eye contact because you're not supposed to communicate in any way. And finally be able to talk to these people, and you're like learning their names for the first time, but you feel like you've known them so well because you've spent like 120 hours in the same spaces together. And two people that I talked to, one person randomly happened to sit next to each other during lunch. And we were talking about just like the ego and whatnot. And he was sharing with me his experience with like going through depression. He comes from an Armenian family, and all that stuff is just not treated with real care. His parents and his brother and his whole family was like, just kind of get over it, go get a job, make money, and everything will be fine. But he was like in a shitty marriage and didn't feel happy in life, would just lay in bed all the time, decided to take the steps to go to therapy. This was his 3rd time doing this retreat, and
3 times.
Going out there to understand the root of a lot of his miseries in his life. And ego was a big thing that he talked about, which is something that I struggle with, where I feel like I feel these emotions and then my ego tells me that, no, you're a man. Don't let nobody call you sassy. That's weak shit. You're just like a man. And whenever you're feeling sad, listen to some 21 Savage and be cool. And don't like fully process your emotions. And he was like, no, recommended some Eckhart Tolle books for me to read. And everything he was saying, I could feel like he felt like a 50-year-old version of me. And he was able to kind of get his life together in the last 5 years, but it almost felt like it was divine for us to sit next to each other and have this conversation. And as he was writing down his number to exchange for us to keep in contact, I just started crying. I was like, you have no
Really?
you have no idea how much this conversation means to me. You have no idea how much what you said you went through is the fears that I have that I will be going through in my own life. And then the next person that I talked to was this older, maybe 70-year-old, just sweet, tiny white man that I saw over there, just like super cute with his little mariner's hat walking around. And at the end,
you're allowed to talk to people?
At the end.
Oh, okay.
At the last day. And I got to talk to him at the end and just to see what his story was. And he says he's done this 10-day retreat over 10 times. He's lost count of how many times he's done it. He hadn't done it in a long time. And the reason that he came back, he was super vague about it. But from what I gathered is his wife recently passed away. And he came back to it after being gone from it for many years. And I think at first it was super sad to hear that, like, sweet man going through such a hard time. But it made me feel better that, like, this man, like, your wife passing away at an old age is one of the worst things that can ever happen to you. Your wife or your husband dying. And then you were just like, all right, I just got to wait to die. I feel like I hear a lot of grandparents that as soon as one of them dies, the other one dies very shortly because there's no will to live. But for this person to go through that tough time and still have this retreat, to know that I can come back to this, I can fully face these emotions and face these fears that I have and not be afraid of it, gives me hope that nothing will ever be too much for me to handle. The worst thing, my family could be killed, knock on something.
Yeah.
And I would hate for that to happen, but it's good to know that when all hell breaks loose, at least I have a place to go that I can feel more connected to myself, and I won't turn to drugs or alcohol or turn to this version of myself that I don't like just to avoid dealing with these real things. So yeah, definitely do your own research about it to make sure that it's something that you want to do. If I did this retreat at 22, I don't think I would have gained the same things I did doing it now. It was a perfect time for me to do it, and also one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. On day 7, I was losing my fucking mind, where I couldn't focus on my breathing. I've eaten the same meal every single day. I've walked the same path, and you're allowed to quit if you want to at any point. So I'd say do your research, make sure you're in a place in life that you want to do it, and go in being prepared to do one of the hardest things in your life. But once you get on the other side of that, I'm not joking. It will change the rest of your life. You will look at life in a completely different lens. And I just feel so much more in control and calmer. And I'm excited to see what 31 onwards in my life looks like. Whew, that was a lot of fucking talking. But yeah, if you go to dhamma.org, that's the website. It looks like a very old website.
Here we go, sponsoring people again.
But you can have all the information there. They have these centers all around the world. They have some in Kenya as well. And just go to location, find a course, and learn more about it. If anything I said kind of felt true to you, try it. Feel free to DM me. I'm happy to talk more about this and help anybody through their journey. Help you with your miseries. It's not a cult, I promise.
You're so funny. Whew. I was thinking.
Would you do it, Deja?
I feel like I just did it. 7 days, right?
This isn't even close.
But I was going to say, you had said that basically, like, making good choice, you want to be a person that makes good choices, and you said a lot. Sorry, it's really hard to remember exactly what you said, but I'm going to paraphrase. You basically said that instead of making bad decisions, which would make me a bad person, and I just want to, because I really believe that you feel that way, I just really want to, like, call out that, like, bad choices don't necessarily make you a bad person. I don't think you've done anything in life where someone can just say you're a bad person. So even though you're back and you're healed and all that stuff, or healing, because healing never stops, it always is going to be the case.
I finished. I accomplished full
I'm
healing.
healed.
I went to the Pokemon Center. I'm at full HP.
So I was going to say, I think people get overwhelmed with things by thinking, okay, I'm this changed person now, and like, cool. And then you make bad decisions, and then you have that mindset, and you're like, dang it, I'm a bad person again. And it's really discouraging. But I always encourage people to just make one good decision at a time. Like, just one good thing at a time, erase one, like, it is, you can't control the things that happen around you, and we are like creatures of like our circumstances. So there are going to be times where you miss the mark, and I just need you to know that you are not a bad person, and it is already decided, and like that's just what it is. So even though you sound like you've done a lot of work and you've healed and all that, there is this, not right now, but you carry a lot of weight. I think you sign up to do things that are a lot of pressure. You were born into a family where you feel a lot of pressure. And I just feel like even though I'm outwardly anxious, you are like, you just, I want you to breathe and take some of that weight off of yourself, and just know that like you are doing the best you can. You're doing so many different things, impacting so many people's lives. And yeah, so just, I hope that you can, like, no matter what this retreat did, I hope that there's a point in your life where you just feel like, damn, I'm great. And like, you can just chill out.
Inshallah, one day. So
even if you make that bad decisions.
So is this you saying that you forgive me for not making it to your birthday?
No.
It sounds like what it is, but I appreciate that.
It's not about making it to my birthday. It's about showing up in general. It's my 30th birthday. It's a really big deal to me. So, yeah.
Speaking on the bad choices thing, I agree with everything you said. The thing that helps me is to be able to put whatever bad choice I am doing into a box of, is this a craving? Am I craving something that is going to make me act out of what I believe my character to be? Or am I averse to something? Like, my whole avoidant thing is just me being averse to stuff, and in terms of making bad decisions because I'm averse to the negativity that comes with letting other people down. And know that those things both carry weight in me allows me to face these things head on a bit more. And it's easier for me to know that me wanting to go out and do the drugs and do all the drinking is a craving that I have to numb something that I'm afraid of, which is in turn an aversion to feeling how I really need to feel.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I'm not saying that you're perfect anyway. You've made a lot of stupid decisions in your life, and as your friend,
nobody implied that I was perfect, but thank you for clarifying.
I just want to, I want to hold you. I will always hold you accountable. There are things that you can be better at for sure, but you're a good person.
Thanks.
So get out of here.
Okay. Should we do our icebreaker? The
ice is melted, bro.
All right, truth or drink. Deja has a card. You choose one. You read it to me, and I'll answer.
Would you fire a colleague if it meant your salary would double and your workload would increase, or wouldn't increase? Sorry.
Would I fire
a colleague if it meant your salary would double and your workload would not increase?
You're gonna hate me, Deja, but it depends. I would fire if my colleague is fucking up, and the reason that I'm not making money.
You're doing the thing you always do.
You're
doing the thing you always do. Let's practice being present and not being afraid of what our answer is, because no matter what your answer is, you're still a good person. So stop chasing around this. Nobody gave you all those other details. The question was,
my colleague is a perfectly good employee. And
no.
The reason that
you're disclaiming. Answer the question. Would you fire? It's a yes or no question. Would you fire a colleague if it meant your salary would double and your workload would not increase?
Yes.
Okay.
I say yes because if my salary is double and my workload's not increasing, it means that this person needed to get fired. I got to fire people. I've fired people on set as a producer. It's part of the job.
Ask me a question, Abdul. I'm so sick of you. You just like that Speedy guy. You're just like that Speedy guy. You know Speedy? Yeah, that's him. Did you see the episode where DDG was asking about Glorilla? Yeah, like he's just like him. Just
No, I'm just asking for clarification.
no.
I think it's kids.
You don't
All
have
the
to do that
kids
on
that
a
are
test.
listening, it's important to get the full story before you answer the question.
He was that kid in class where the teacher told everybody no more questions because he just kept needing an explanation on every question.
No, I low-key had ADHD. I wasn't paying it. I didn't
There's
even
no
know what
low-key
was
about
going on in the class for me to ask questions.
Go ahead, Abdul.
Tell us about a time when you took credit for somebody else's hard work or good idea. Don't you dare say you've never done it.
I don't think I have. Like, why would I do that?
See, I ask clarifying questions, which is acceptable. You just lie.
I'm not lying.
You've never taken credit for somebody else's work?
I guess every guy I've ever dated, anything good he's done, I'm like, yep, I did that. Okay, every joke I've ever told, I've heard from someone else. But
Whoa,
But,
every joke?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I've heard from someone else. I saw it online, something. And when people laugh, instead of, like, sometimes, like, it'll be something super specific. Like, someone said something kind of clever before. And then, like when you say, oh, like, Piper. And then it's like, Piper? I hardly know her. Like, whatever. Like, that's something my boyfriend says all the time. And it's like, I'll repeat that. And then people will be like, oh, I like that. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you do. And I steal it all the time.
Damn. That is one of the worst things you could do as a person. But hey, I still accept you for who you are.
What's a raw deal that you've got that prevented you from having a better life?
I think being black in America.
We keeping that.
Yeah. It's like, it's a well-known thing.
You know, some people don't even know you're black. Like, I was telling somebody, I don't even remember who, I was like, something, like, you know, we're black, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, your co-host isn't. And I was like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, your co-host isn't black, right? And I'm like, you don't think he's black? He's like African. They're like, no, he's something else. Like, both of his parents, I'm like, yes, they're African. Like, his dad's like mixed, but like, he's black.
I feel like that's.
Do you not look black to the world? Look at the camera.
That's been my experience most of my life.
I'm so glad your waves are gone.
Deshaun, can you add them back in post? It's been something, and I think people's definition of black changes. Like, so many people define black as like, unless you're 2 generations here and your great-great-grandparents were a slave, then you don't count as. That's some people have that definition. So
I think people
I've
think
encountered people that have not thought that I was black, and I'm like, hey, I grew up here. I have dealt in situations that I feel like I only dealt with because people assumed that I was black.
Damn it.
A pretty black experience. I still am close to my Kenyan side, but I have had a pretty black experience. I identify as American before I identify as African. And yeah.
I thought you were black. I mean, I didn't know. I always thought you were black.
Thank you.
I guess you look like maybe like Mexican.
Yeah, my dad is half Indian.
No?
My dad is half Indian and half Kenyan, but we have no ties to our Indian side because of racism and a bunch of stuff. So technically I'm like a quarter Indian, but other than watching Kalahor Naho, I don't know shit about it.
I'm tired of that.
You should watch that movie.
No.
You would love that movie.
I feel like I already watched it.
Stop experiencing life through me, Deja, and experience it for yourself. What is an expensive thing you've replaced even though it still worked just because you wanted a new one? I know Bellevue Deja has some answers for this one.
God, I actually am trying to not, like, I spend a lot of money.
Maybe your car?
No, I don't have a new car.
But you want to replace it.
Well, yeah, my car, but like that's not just because I want to replace my car because I'm tired of driving a stick. I hate it. I'm tired of it. I've driven a stick for 12 years now, and my knee is giving out, my clutch is giving out. I just feel it's the worst.
My knee and my clutch are giving out. It's the most 30-year-old thing you've ever said.
Drive a stick and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not easy. It's not for the weak in Seattle. But I would say wigs. I be going through wigs. I be spending. That's where all my money goes is wigs. I be buying wigs. I'm not wearing a wig right now. Stop trying to look for the lace. I saw that. He was looking right up here. He was looking directly at my lace.
You said wigs.
Directly at.
What am I supposed to look at? The ceiling? Look at Deshaun's
He was
hair?
like trying to look at my lace. What's wrong? And this is exactly why I'm not wearing wigs. You can't wear wigs around the wrong people because.
Am I the wrong people?
Yeah.
What did I do? I just looked at wigs when you said wigs.
I'm not wearing a wig.
I looked at hair when you said
What is
wigs.
this? What would you? What's this style? Take a guess.
Is that an extension?
What if you went to the hair? If I couldn't talk anymore, and I went.
You on a silent retreat?
If I couldn't talk anymore, and I needed to go to the hair shop and get my hair done. What would you think? If you had to speak for me? What would this style be called? Like, hey, she wants the.
Take a screenshot from this podcast. I'm like, she wants her hair like this.
No, that's not a thing. What would you ask for verbally? You can't show pictures.
She wants like the little braids within the curliness, and so you tell me this is fully your natural hair?
Do you think this is fully my natural hair?
I know
Abdul?
it's not, but I want to make sure.
You don't think black women are capable of growing
I'm,
hair?
I'm being painted in a corner right now.
You
There's
see
no
any
right
lace?
answer.
You see any lace? It's not a wig, but it's definitely not my real hair. Come on now.
Then what is it?
You tell me.
I don't know.
Deshaun, what would you ask for?
He said wavy extensions.
These are Burmese curl hair with braids.
How the fuck would any of us pull that out from anywhere? Is that not just like general knowledge that people
Okay,
have?
to be fair, I wouldn't know what you got going on. Just call it either.
Exactly.
Can we give him a little Jerry curl with the sides kind of shaped down like Will Smith a little bit?
This is a Jerry curl to you?
Yeah. For real.
Just like a fade.
Can you give him the Sunday's best, please?
But yeah, I think it's understandable for me not to know about women's hair and you not to know about men's hair because I'm a man and you're a woman.
I want you to focus now with this new being you. Like, can you fix your posture? Like, what does this give to you?
This is because I'm trying to.
No, hold on. Let me just take a picture of what you look like right
I'm
now.
trying.
No, hold on.
I'm trying to
Just stay like
talk
that.
closer
No,
to
go
the
back
mic.
down. Have
I'm
you
trying
looked?
to talk closer to the mic. I think I initially set it higher.
Tell me if this is a confident man to you. This is what I gotta look at all day. Do you know? Sit up.
I'm trying to talk into the mic.
Sit up.
I'm going to adjust the mic. I apologize for that.
Yes, come on now. There you go. New Abdul, new posture.
For the meditation retreat, to bring back to that, you had to sit on the floor for all those hours of meditating. And I got very aware of my posture because...
Just sit up. Sit up normal. Just for me, one time.
Oh, this is normal.
Your butt is like halfway on the seat. Sit up correctly. Look. All right, take a deep breath. No, you didn't even breathe. You didn't even inhale.
Oh my
Take
God.
take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
You're doing 10 days of silent retreat right now. I'm about to go to the old Abdul.
Yeah, act like you got some money. Well, we appreciate you coming back
Thank you.
and not,
Thank you guys for holding it down while I was gone. I came back. A legit worry that I had when I was there was like, damn, are we canceled? I don't know what clip went where, what went viral. And not the first thing that I did. One of the first things I did was check the Instagram. I'm like, all right, this is acceptable. I saw one with like 20 comments. I was like, oh no. What happened? But great job, y'all. Thank you for holding it down. It feels good to have a team and to be able. I wouldn't be able to do these things if I didn't have people in my life that I trusted to take care of things outside of it. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to Jordan. Shout out to Emmanuel.
Oh, while we're recording, I have one last question. So, can I borrow this on my birthday?
Sure.
Yes?
I have to check the schedule. But
What do you mean?
like, it's a Harvest House thing, and
Is
Jordan
it?
has stuff. Right. Yeah, it's not mine.
He's the owner. Okay, all right.
There's two owners, and Jordan takes care of all the party stuff. There's nothing happening. Actually, no. There's an invite only next week.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh,
And this is going to be used for that. So
okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm used to it. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.